Hi, I'm Nate, and welcome to Nate's Road Life. So today, we're going to be changing out this tankless water heater. And this is a Furrion tankless water heater, as you can see here. We've had this unit in the camper for, I don't know, about 3 years, and it's starting to give us some problems. Whenever we turn on the hot water, oftentimes it'll light and then go out and throw an E1 error code. Now I've changed some parts here. I've changed a propane regulator on the camper. I've done pretty much anything with the exception of changing the control board on this. And it's just not fixing it. It still works. It's just extremely temperamental. It's oftentimes you got to turn the hot water on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off 5 or 10 times, and then finally it'll light and stay. And so anyway, we basically were faced with, we could pay $150 for a new control board and hope that that fixed the problem, but if it didn't, you couldn't send it back. Or it was Amazon Prime Day and the new tankless water heater was 25% off. We paid $350 for the new tankless water heater, or maybe it was $380, I don't know, something like that. I'll look it up. But anyway, and just get a new one. So that's what we did. This time we're going with a Ranein brand tankless water heater. It had really good reviews. I looked it up, top 10 tankless RV water heaters. It was number 1, so we're going to give it a shot, see what it does. It's got a 2-year warranty, so hopefully that means something. Like I said, this one's lasted 3 years. We full-time in this RV, so I'm not even going to say anything bad about this. This is probably not designed for full-time RV living. This is probably more geared towards, you know, what an RV is meant to be used for, weekend trips and stuff like that. So the fact that it hung on for 3 years through winters and summer and the whole 9 yards, you know, I'm gonna say we got our money's worth out of it. So let's get this thing changed today. Hopefully it's not going to be that big of a deal, because I've already changed from a standard water heater to a tankless, so I had to frame the hole in smaller in order to accommodate this tankless when we changed it the first time. The new tankless should have roughly the same cutout dimensions as this tankless, so hopefully this one will pull out and the new one will go right in and we won't have to do too much. We'll see. Alright y'all, first things first, you gotta remove all this stuff. Take all these screws out, and then it'll pull this bezel here off, and then that'll expose the actual water heater. Alright, see how easy this thing pulls off. Might be a bit of a pain because it's siliconed and all that good jazz. Okay, let me go get a screwdriver and see if I can kind of pry on this a little bit. Man, that sucker was really on there, but that's good. As you can see, the framing that I did, which I'm not going to try to act like it was the best job in the world. It's not professional. It's just what had to be done. All the wood looks in good shape, so evidently there was no water leakage, which is what we're after. You don't want any water infiltration, obviously. I had to shim it whenever I did it. You can see right here is one and right here's the other. There was another one down here and another one on the side. I just used some paint stir sticks from the Home Depot. Worked out pretty good. You gotta just do what you gotta do to make do, right? anyway, see what we can do here. All right, it's been a while. Like I said, 3 years, but I can't get this just to pull out. As memory serves me, I might have to go in the underbelly and crawl up in there and take the stuff loose in order to do this. So let's go prepare to do that, I guess. All right, y'all, so I just wanted to show you where exactly we gotta go. I gotta crawl through that maze. You can see the water heater back right there. That's the water heater. So I'm gonna crawl back in there and try and take everything loose. All right, I hope you guys can see decent. There's not much room in here to do much of anything. I don't think this has to be taken apart right now, but this, the hot and cold, I have to, because when I installed this, I didn't put any flexible connections on it, like a wing ding. I should have, but anyway. Oh, we'll do that on the next one. There it is. We got them all cut loose, so now hopefully we can just go pull the water heater out. If I can get back out of this hole anyway. That's gonna be the trick. Hey. All right, y'all, so this is from the outside looking in where the water heater would be, okay? So here's your hot water. Let me crawl in here a little bit. Here's your cold water, okay? So on the old water heater, the cold water came in on this side and hot water came out on this side. But on the new water heater, it's opposite of that. The cold water comes in on this side, the hot water comes out on that side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this 90 loose right here, okay? Take it off. And then where this cold is, I'm gonna cut it right here, and I'm just gonna take this 90 and put it on here, okay? That way, then the cold will be coming right here. Then this little pup piece that I cut off right here, I'm just gonna get a coupling to go right here onto the hot water. I'm gonna put that on to the hot water with this piece on the hot water. It's gonna come over, and then I'm gonna use the original 90 to come over. Hopefully that makes sense. I'll show you guys whenever I get it going, but for now, that's about the best explanation that I can give. So anyway, I'm gonna get this rocking and rolling, and we'll show you when that time comes. All right, y'all, so I don't know exactly where we left off, but I had to run to Ace right quick and pick up a coupling. So it just pushes on to the end of this PEX, okay? So we'll push it on like that until it goes all the way in and stops. And now it won't come off, right? Then we've got our 90 here, okay? We're gonna pop it on as well. Just like that. And on this one here, this is a different style of fitting. It has got a retaining washer that you put on here, so that way it can't come undone. Pop that in, keep it from coming undone. Now, what I'm gonna do is get everything ready on the water heater. Unfortunately, I wanted to put flexible connections here, but the only way I'd be able to really do that is if I reduce down to 3/8, and I don't really want to reduce down to 3/8 and potentially choke back my flow. So we're just going to leave it like this. I'm just going to have to climb back up in here and reattach it. So I'm going to take these two pieces. These are the threaded ends that will go on here and go to the water heater. And I'm going to go ahead and thread them onto the water heater outside, get everything ready to go. That way we just stick it in the hole, and all I got to do is crawl up in here and push them PEX pipes into this and be done. It'll be hooked up, right? So let's go do that right fast, get that prepped up and ready to go, and then we'll be about ready to stick this thing back in the hole. We'll just have to hook up the power supply, and that'll be pretty much it. Then the rest of it will be shoving it in, getting this all bolted up, and then we'll hook up the control board inside, and then we'll test it out, make sure that it works properly, and as long as it does, then we'll put the outside bezel on. So I know that this is some riveting footage staring into here while I'm talking to you, but I don't know. It is what it is. I'll see you here in a second. All right, y'all. So next thing I'm going to do right quick is go ahead and put some thread tape around the water inlet and outlet. And then we're going to thread these on, get them tightened down before we put the water heater in the hole. That way, once we get in, all we gotta do is tighten them down. Or not tighten them down, but slide the PEX into them. Alright, so now that that's taken care of, the last thing that we really need to accomplish before we put it in the hole is hooking up this wiring. So I'm going to go inside right quick, and we need to take off the old control board, get that all prepped up and ready to go. We'll put this thing in, get all the wiring hooked up and water and gas hooked up, and then we'll be ready to try it out. So let's go inside, take the old control board off, then we'll put this in, then we'll put the new control board on. I just want to make sure the old control board is off before I hook this up, because I don't want to take any chance of somehow that messing this water heater up. I doubt that it will, but you know, better safe than sorry on some things, and I don't really want to risk that. So let's go check it out. All right, so here's the old control panel for the old water heater. This is obviously the big control panel for everything in the camper. So we've got a few screws here that we've got to take out, and we'll pull this down. That'll give us access to the wiring on this. This here is kind of a pain, but it twists and pulls out. Here's the wires that are on the back of it, but they're just running in right here, and then they're connected back here. So we'll take this off. That'll give us access to these. We'll cut them, be ready to go. I'm going to do that. I'll get back with you here in a second. All right, you can see here that I've removed this. I cut the wiring, pushed it back through the hole. Now I can get to it from back here. So here's the new mounting plate for this new controller. it'll go right there, and then the controller will go on it, and then the wire can pass through this hole. But I want to kind of try and show you guys something, which is going to be extremely hard to do probably. But anyway, so here's the controller. You can see the wire goes like that. But if I put this wire through that hole right there and then try to latch this on, because how it works is this little deal in the back goes on this little latch. It comes on top and slides down on it, right? Well, that hole is too high. It needs to be lower so that way this wire can pass through it. The way it is right now, it bends the wire. See if I can show you. It bends the wire up like that whenever you try to latch it on, and it makes this box stand out like that from it. So I'm probably going to have to notch this hole out a little bit bigger so that way that wire will pass through. Other than that, bolt the controller up here. I went ahead and cut this wire shorter because it was like 10 or 15 feet long, and I don't need all that because the wiring's just right back in here. It's hard to see because it's a jumbled up mess, but it's right back there, I promise. So I only need like a foot of wire basically. I just run up in there and hook up to it. So cut it shorter. We'll get that going. I'll check back with you here in just a minute. All right, y'all, here we are. I got this bracket mounted. I widened that hole out a little bit, and now it fits on there. So here's the wire. I fed it through and back around, and then here's the two wires that are down there at the water heater. So I'm gonna go ahead and strip these wires, strip this back, connect them. Remember, it doesn't matter which way they're connected, and go ahead, get ready to run out there, put the rest of this together. I know that I said I was going to wait and put this controller board in, but I figured since I'm already here, what the heck, I'll just do it right quick. So let me get this wired up, put this panel back in, and I'll see you outside when we're putting the water heater in. Okay, I wanted to show you guys a piece of helpful information here. So the only wires that this thing seems to care about being correct are the power supply wires. So you have a positive and a negative. That's it. The rest of it doesn't really seem to matter how it hooks up. So the positive has to go to the positive, the negative has to go to the negative, otherwise you'll blow fuses and mess stuff up. So we need to make sure that we know which one of these wires, these are the power wires, we need to make sure that we know which one's positive and which one's negative. So I've got my voltmeter here, just a multimeter, and I've got it set to voltage DC. Okay, it's on 0 right now. Hopefully you guys can see that well on the screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch this voltmeter to these. Okay, it says 13.66 volts. All right, now if I flip it around, put the black on this side and the red on this side, now it shows negative 13 volts, right? Let me put it back over here again. Shows 13 volts. See, there's nothing right here. If I flip it around to black on this side, red on this side, it shows negative 13. It's got a negative right there. That means that I've got it backwards, okay? The red is supposed to be positive, the black is supposed to be negative, okay? So if it shows negative, you've got it backwards. That's how we tell what's positive and what's negative. So this red is positive and the green is negative, and we can tell that once again by hooking the black up to the green. We'll hook the red up to the red, and it does not have a negative. It just says 13.66. So that means that this is the positive side. So anyway, I thought that might come in handy for somebody that's trying to do this, just to help keep you from hooking it up backwards. So, all right, let's get this thing hooked up. All right, so just gonna hook this up using some butt connectors. Nothing too fancy. We know which one's the positive and negative. We got them stripped back already because we were testing them with the multimeter, right? Let's go ahead and get them crimped on there, just like such. These are heat shrink butt connectors, so you could heat shrink them to the wire if you wanted to. I'm not going to because I don't really feel like it's necessary for this. We're dealing with 12 volt here, and it shouldn't never come in contact with water, so really not that big of a deal. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these. These here are the old controller wires. This one and this one, the old controller wires. Ta-da, just like that. Twist them up, slide the butt connector on it, grip it down, it's good and tight, ain't coming off. Same thing with this one, twist it up, grab the butt connector, slide it on there, grip it down, it ain't coming off. Check all these, they're not coming off. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm gonna go check the power source one last time to make sure that I have the power shut off to this. I don't really want to be hooking this up while it's got power to it, you know, because it's not going to be like an instant on. It's going to be jittering back and forth between having power and not having power, and I don't want to mess it up, especially as, you know, brand new. I'd really hate to tear it up. I ain't even used it yet. So give me a second, let me go make sure the power's turned off, put this thing in, get that wiring hooked up, then we'll go on the inside, unfortunately, hook the plumbing back up to it, and we'll be ready to test this thing out. All right, so this right here is exactly why you check things, because it was not shut off. So the first one that we're going to hook up here is going to be the negative side. Why, you might ask? Really no rhyme or reason, it's just the one that I grabbed first. So that's the one we're going to hook up first. I'm going to take this unit, and I'm just going to kind of set it in here like that. Grab the wiring, bring it out over here. All right, so this blue and orange, if I remember right, were the controller wires, and the green and red were the power wires. Let me trace this back down just to be sure. So we've got brown going to this red, which is right here. This green goes to this white. The white is on that, so yes. All right, cool. So the green and the red was the positive. So this has got a little tag that says 12 volt negative. Slide it in there like that and crimp it down. And then the black is the positive. Which goes to the red. Now these blue controller wires here can go to either or, is what it said. So I don't care which one it hooks up to, we're just gonna hook it up. As long as I can get it to go into the connector. Bada bing, bada boom, there's all the electrical. All right, stick this thing in the hole and we'll go inside, or in the underbelly, I guess, and put all the rest of it together. All right, y'all, we're back in our underbelly dungeon here. I don't know how well exactly that you're gonna be able to see all this because there's not much room. Get all this stuff put back together. Hopefully you'll be able to see something.
Okay, this is the cold water inlet. All right, it seems to be latched. We'll put one of these little keepers in there so it doesn't come loose. And then now for just the hot water side. I know, guys, that this is probably not the best footage here, but you gotta believe that I'm trying. All right, that seems to be in there good and won't come back out. Put that on there. And then over here, we got the coupling that goes like this to put the two together. There it is. Okay. Now, we just have to hook up the gas. It's a flare fitting, so it doesn't need anything fancy. I don't know how to get to where you guys can see it, but anyway, hook up the gas. No room to do anything underneath here. Okay. All right. I guess I could have had the light pointed at it. All right. Hot water inlet. I know it's blue, but it comes from red. I was just reusing pipe. All right. And then there's your cold water inlet right there. Propane's right underneath it. There's all your electrical connections. Everything is ready to go. Now we should be able to turn on the water, turn on the gas, make sure that there's no leaks, go kick on the controller, and make sure this thing works. So let's go do that. All right, y'all, here it is, the moment of truth. Turn the hot water side on. Output's climbing. It's up to 124. Hopefully that means good things. Go feel the water. Water's getting hot. Let's go outside and check the unit. I'm excited. And that was the very first time I just turned the water on and it took off. She's running. Good hot air blowing out of there. It's quiet too. All right, let me go inside, shut the water off. We'll start putting this together. All right, guys. So we have ran into a little bit of a problem. Now, this water heater runs perfect. I mean, it is immaculate. But what is also immaculate is my inability to follow instructions. I didn't read the mounting instructions for this water heater because I thought it was just the same size, and it is, but let me show you what the problem is here. Here's the door that covers the hole. Looks good. Covers the hole. Fits like it was supposed to, right? Here's the problem. See the problem? So we got to change the framing. This is that butyl tape. You can see it's real, like, it's sticky, but it's just got this paper backing that you peel off like that whenever you're ready to use it. I'll just stick it on like that, and then when I'm ready, I'll just pull that paper off and shove it up against there. Just like that. And now I need to put butyl tape around this whole deal here, through here. I'm gonna put some on there also. So let me put some butyl tape on this right quick, and then we'll put this up. Put one screw in it for now, maybe. Don't really tighten it down, just put it there to hold. Alright. Now I got some self-tappers. I got some self-tappers and some not self-tappers. I need the self-tapping screws. In case you're wondering what the difference between them is, that's a self-tapping screw. It's got like a little drill bit on the front of it. That is not a self-tapping screw. This will drill into steel a lot easier, or aluminum, or whatever you got. So these are probably meant to go on the outside, and these non-self-tapping ones are probably meant to go on the inside. So I'm gonna run me a couple of these in. All right, y'all, so we got all that butyl tape trimmed all the way around. Now it's time to put silicone around it. And I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know. Check this out. Pause the screen, read it if you need to. This is designed for RVs. It's the absolute best, believe me. If you're gonna silicone something like this on the outside of an RV, get some of this junk. Don't just get like normal silicone. This is way better, hands down. So we'll silicone around all this stuff, put the door back on yet again, and then I can go inside and hook everything back up, and this one will finally be complete. So what's the lesson that we learned here? Read the instructions. Yeah, that's it, right. Read the instructions beforehand, because if you just assume, here you are. Well, guys, got the door put back on it, silicone tacked up good enough that I can go ahead and put it on. So that's a wrap. This project is complete finally, and I'm glad. You turn on the water, it lights, and you have hot water. You don't have to jack with it repeatedly. It just works. So I'm glad. I'm really glad. And it wasn't really that big of a deal to do. I mean, the worst part was just having to move the framing, and that really wouldn't have been that big of a thing if I would have just looked at the manual beforehand. But anyway, you live and you learn. So I appreciate y'all tuning in for this one. This wasn't really a how-to. It was more of a, this is what's going on in my life. But if you used it as a how-to, I hope that it helped you. Anyway, I'll check back in, you know, maybe 6 months or a year from now, whatever, to let y'all know how this water heater was going. I kind of took a risk on it. I didn't really hear a whole lot about it, but the few reviews that I did read seemed positive. So hopefully it's, you know, a good investment. We'll see. It was a couple $100 cheaper than the one that I had previous, so we'll find out. But anyway, as always, guys, I appreciate the view. If you would like, comment, subscribe, I would be honored. That would mean a lot to me, helps out. So anyway, you want your blue card? Okay, give me a minute, I'll come get it for you, okay? Somebody wants her car. Anyway, and like I was saying, I appreciate, Lexi does, yeah. I appreciate the view. If you would like, comment, subscribe, I would be honored. It means a lot. The channel's starting to grow, and I'm excited about it. At the time of making this video, we've got 130 subscribers. So once this video posts, I'll
curious to see how many it'll be. Right now we're kind of backlogged. As I'm videoing this, it's going to be about, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks probably before it actually airs, because we've already got stuff edited and, you know, scheduled. So anyway, but we'll catch you guys on the next one. I appreciate the view. Peace out.